Ethiopian Jews, the Beta Israel, began their return home in two massive airlifts. Operation Moses in 1985, followed by Operation Solomon 6 years later. 130,000 Ethiopian Jews live in Israel today, but thousands remain trapped in Africa. Many left their homes and villages in the mountains of Gondar, choosing an uncertain status in refugee camps in the hope of immigrating to Israel. Some have waited in these camps for over 10 years, in abject poverty, without work, lacking all basics for survival, no longer accepted by Ethiopian society, and yet prevented from immigrating to Zion.
In Zechariah 10:9, the Lord spoke, "Though I scattered them among the peoples, yet in distant lands they will remember me. They and their children will survive, and they will return." In northern Ethiopia, in the villages outside Gondar, live God's scattered people, the Beta Israel. According to statistics, over 96% of the Beta Israel live below the international poverty line of $1 per day. With Ethiopia having one of the largest orphan populations in the world, the Beta Israel orphans struggle to survive, living without food, without clean water, without shoes, malnourished, suffering, dying, and without hope. The Lord heard the cries of his people, and, as promised in Isaiah 41:17, to answer them and not forsake them, he chose to work through Messianic Rabbi Kokeb Gadamu of House of Israel International Ministries and Sherry Silk of Sarah Leah Ministries. The Lord birthed in each of them his vision for the Beta Israel orphans, to love them, rescue them, feed them, and serve them as Yeshua did for us, and to build them a home, Heart of My Heart Orphanage. In April 2012, the Lord sent Rabbi Kokeb and Sherry to Gondar to personally assess the situation and to begin his work for the orphans. Here, in a Beta Israel village in France, we saw firsthand the severe malnutrition, disease, thirst, and poverty of the orphans. Each of the children came forward, some with their siblings, to be registered and have their ages and shoe size recorded. Most were without shoes and in tattered rags. Some had only a torn shirt to cover their little bodies. 2 days later, we returned with warm-up suits, sneakers, bread, and water bottles for the children. By the end of the day, other Beta Israel orphans in surrounding areas heard that provisions were being given out and came running to us. Our hearts broke at the sight of children holding children, hungry, thirsty, with arms outstretched, grabbing, pushing, and reaching out, hoping to be the one to receive help.
They're walking alone without a hero. All they want is to be loved. But he sits at the right hand of the Father. Even now, he makes a way for you. And you're not alone. And you're not alone.
On the drive back to the city, our group made a stop to walk down a steep hill to the place where many women and children came from miles and miles away to fill their yellow jugs with polluted, bacteria-laden water. Thirsty and parched, they have no choice but to drink the same water they bathe and wash their clothes in, the same water they and the animals urinate and defecate in. While this trip was filled with great sorrow in seeing the squalor and desperation of the Beta Israel orphans, there was also great joy as we looked beyond these circumstances and towards future plans the Lord holds for them. Here we set foot for the first time on the 4-acre piece of land the Lord had given us for the building and expansion, recreational areas, future medical clinic, and farm. The plans have been finalized with the architect according to the required government standards. The first step will be to build a strong, high barrier around our property. Next, we have a well dug to at least 230 feet deep, so that there will always be a constant source of fresh, clean water for the children, even in times of drought. As we wait for Heart of My Heart Orphanage to be built and operating, the needs of the Beta Israel orphans must continually be met. A constant supply of food, clothing, and medical supplies must be provided to keep these children from dying of malnutrition, thirst, and disease. Children and safe-loving foster parents must be identified, and monthly provisions must be given to house, feed, school, and care for these children.
Shalom, Mishpaha. I am sure when you saw this video, your heart melted. Yes, it is true. My Ethiopian Jewish children left over in Ethiopia, they are suffering and they are looking someone to give them hope and love, encouragement, and also give them another chance to live. So the Lord gave us a land in order to build home to them. Heart of My Heart Orphanage will be built in Ethiopia as soon as possible. Whatever the Lord put in your heart, be part of this miraculous mission. And God is working. God is moving. We can accomplish more than 500 children with school and food and home, shelter, everything. So you can be part of this mission. You can go with us to Ethiopia and then to do whatever the Lord put in your heart. And please, I encourage you to give sacrifice gifts in order to accomplish our mission towards the forgotten Ethiopian Jewish children. May God bless you. I love you. Shalom.